Now let's see a very important concept in any programming language for that matter, which is called loops. We will start firstly with for loops. So the for loop is a construct where we can iterate through the elements of an array. So let's say there is an array 1 2 3 4 5, and then I want to iterate over it. Okay, so what happens is that you can have a syntax, something called for, and then in parents you can write something like this: let I is equal to 0. This is called initializer, which means that I am creating a temporary variable. For why? For the purpose of this iterating through this. I need to know that whether I am at the first element, second element, third element. For that matter, I am trying to create a variable. Okay, that is the first thing, that is called initializer. Next is that a condition, and that condition is checked every time this loop is running. Okay, so which means that after let I is equal to 0, now do I need to run this body, so this thing, this part within the curly braces of this for loop, that is called the body of the for loop. So initializer is always run, but after that, do we think that this body we have to run or not? That thing is decided by this part. The semicolon is there, and after that again another semicolon is there. So between this first semicolon and second cap semicolon, whatever is this thing is there, that is condition. Now we know that this thing will return true or false. Why? Because this is a conditional operator, so anything less than something, so this will return a boolean value, right? Now that boolean value is true, then it will go inside the body. If it is false, then it will not go inside the body, and it will exit, it will stop the iteration of the loop. Okay, now you see, last part is something called post operation, where once the body is executed, then I go here, and then I do this operation. Okay, so let's try to do this, because this has many parts, we have to go in detail. So firstly, let's firstly create a array. So let's say arr is equal to 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now if you simply write for, then you will see that you will get suggestion where you can directly write the whole thing. Now you see that multiple conditions are there. So the first time whatever so you know that I can name my variable whatever is there. But you know what, whatever is the name of the variable here, that should be here, that should be here. So a normal thing is there that they have given some index name, and then if you write I, then at all the places it will be changed at one stroke. Okay, now you put a tab. This is specifically for VS Code. If in any other editor you are there, then you can see that how it works in your editor. But in VS Code, you put a tab, then now you go to the name of the array. Now what is the name of the array? They don't know. So this code is auto generated by the code snippet, by the shortcut snippet, right? So we have to see that what should be the name of the array. Again, I know that my array name is ARR, not ARR AY array whole. Okay, so I'll simply write ARR, and wherever it is being used, that will be changed. That is fine. Now if I print this element, again for simplicity, let's write simply EL. Okay, what will be printed? So you see that it is printing 1 2 3 4 5. But how? You see that I is a variable which I have just created, and then I am initializing it with 0. That is fine. Okay, next I see that whether I is right now 0, whether 0 is less than array.length. Array.length is what? Now the length of the array is 5, so 0 is less than 5. It is true, and that's why this thing is going to be executed. This body is going to be executed because this condition is true. Whenever this condition is true, this body is going to be executed. As soon as the body is false, this thing is not going to be executed. Okay, now I execute it, and then I see that what is my EL is, or we can simply write directly print here also. So that is, rather than assigning a new variable, I could have simply done something like this also. That is fine. But what is happening is that I am saying that ARR 0, give me the 0th index. What is the zeroth index? Zeroth index means first index, right? I index 0 which means the first item. The first item is 1, and that's why this 1 is printed. Again, after this, the post condition is what? Post operation is what? Post operation is whatever is here. Now here is I plus plus, which means that increase my value of I. I is right now 0. Now I is 1. Now once this part is done, now again we come back to the condition part, and we keep on doing this whole thing again and again, and that is why it is called loop. It is executing again and again and again till the time I get this condition false. Till the time I am getting this condition true, I keep on running. So I have changed 1. Now is 1 less than 5? Array dot length is 5, right? Is 1 less than 5? Okay. Still it is 1 is less than 5. That's why I will go inside, and I will go inside, then I will see that yeah, I'll now print ARR 1, and that's why it is printing 2. In the same fashion it will print 3, 4, but you see what, at when I is 4, I is, let's say I is 3. When I is 3, then AR 0, 1, 2, 3. This 4 is printed, right? I is 3. As soon as I exit the body, then I do I plus plus. When I do I plus plus, then what is happening is that I is my now 5. I is 5. Then I'm checking this condition. 5 is so you see. Firstly, see. I think I did some mistake. So basically, when it was 3, then 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 was there. Now 3 is less than 5, true. That's why it went inside, and then I plus plus happened. Then 4, I became 4. Now 4 less than 5, it is true, and that's why it went inside. And then ARR 4, which is 5. 5 is printed. Then I go outside, and then I see 4 I plus plus. I is 4. Now I becomes 5. I becomes 5. 5 is less than 5. No. ARR dot length is 5, I is 5. So 5 is less than 5, 5 is strictly less than, 5 is strictly less than 5, this is wrong, right? And that's why this thing is false, right? And that's why this thing will be now nothing will be executed further, and that's why this thing terminates. Okay. Now let's try to go deep inside each of them to see. So first of all, what is this condition? What if I do something like less than equal to? What will happen? See what will happen. Now I'm saying that I will keep on running till my so what will be the indexes for it will run. So it will start with 0, then it will run with for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4. This is index, not value. Okay. So this is I value. I value is 0, 1, 2. Earlier it ran till 4. 4 is less than 5, but not 5 is less than 5. But now you see, I am checking for I less than equal to 5. Not less than 5. When it was less than 5, then I could only go till 4. But if I now write I is less than or equal to 5, then it will run for 5 also. Because for 5 also, 5 less than equal to 5 is correct, because less than equal to means less than or equal to. Either it should be less or equal. It is equal, and that's why this thing will be still true. So it will work for 5 also, but it will not work for 6, right? Because for 6 is less than equal to 5 is wrong, is false basically. Now my point is that earlier it was running, this body was running for I 0 to, in fact, forget the value, just write I, just print I, just this index. So let me properly write I, this is not value. So you see that it is I is from going from 0 to 4 as expected. If I do less than or equal to, then you see that it is going to 0 from 0 to 5. So in index, all these are index values, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is going till 5. Okay. Now what do you think will be my value when I print this? So if I do something like this, then what will happen? What will happen is that it will print undefined in the end. Why? Because it can get 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index, but it cannot get 5 index. But we earlier saw that it was showing from 0 to 5. The 5 index is not here. Now an array of length 5, which means that index should be from 0 to 4. If I try to access array 5, array index 5, then it will give me undefined, and that's why it is giving undefined, which means that the standard syntax is something like this, that when you write a for loop, right, then when you write a for loop, then I is generally the length, whatever is the length. If the length is n, then either it is written as less than n, or it is written as less than or equal to n minus 1. Both are same, right? Because if it is here in this case, I can write minus 1, then it will still work fine, because now again in this case this is 5 minus 1 4, so it will go from 0 to 4, not fifth one, and that's why it will work. Okay, so again if I write something like this, then it will still work. Okay, that is one part. So let's get back to the original one. That is one part. Second, let's try to change the I initial value. So rather than starting with 0, let's start with 1. Let's see what happens. See, what is going to happen is that only 2 3 4 5 is printing, 1 is not printing. Why? Because now the index is starting from 1. Now the index is and you can change anywhere. You can start the index from 2, whatever. If you start the index from 2, which means that array 0 is not considered, array 1 is not considered, array 2, from 2 the item is being considered, and that's why the value will be printed from index 2, index 3, index 4, and that's why the values at index 2 3 4 is the values 3 4 and 5, and they are printed. Okay, that is one thing. What if I do instead of I plus plus, I do plus plus I? Will anything change? Nothing will change. It still works fine. Why? So whatever is its pre-increment or post-increment, it does not matter, because this statement is just executed. It's this expression's value is never utilized, it's just thrown away here. Just we are saying that I have to execute this statement. After I execute this statement, then I will be incremented by 1. Doesn't matter it is pre or post, in both cases it will be incremented by 1. In fact, you can also write I plus equal to 1. Why? Because I plus equal to 1 means in I is equal to I plus 1. In fact, you can write this also. You see, it is still working fine. So you can understand that I plus plus is just a shortcut, but essentially the idea is that after my body is executed, then I have to run this statement. Now, why I am running this statement? Firstly, you tell me. Why we are trying to do I plus plus? Because otherwise we will not make progress. Otherwise I am at index 0, I am printing 0, and then again if I don't do anything, then again I will be at 0, and I will be basically if I don't write the last part, then you see what will happen. My computer will hang when I will start this, and what will happen is that this will go in an infinite loop. You see I'm cancelling this, so you can see that so many ones are printed, right? Why? Because there is no progress being made. I have started with the 0 index, which means that the first item. After that I'm not changing anything, I'm printing, and then after the second semicolon nothing is there, so for loop is saying that yeah, I don't have to do anything. Let's check the condition again, and then it sees that again it is 0. Okay, yeah, 0 is less than 5, correct, go inside, and then again it prints error 0, again it prints 1, and then again. So there is no condition is not changing. So how will you reach the terminating state here, right? Okay, so for that you are changing this I plus plus, right? That is the first part. Next is that you need not do I plus plus, right? You could do, let's say, I plus equal to 2. I want to increment in size of 2 rather than size of 1, which means that now 135 is printed. Why 135 is printed? Because I started with 0 index and I saw that yeah, 0 index means this is printed, but after that I am incrementing in terms of 2. not 1. So I will get, after 0 index, I will directly jump to 2 index. So what is happening? I is firstly 0, then 2, and then 4, right? And that's why 0 index is 1, 2 index is 3, and 4 index is 5. And that's why 135 is printed. What if I start with 1 and then do the same thing, I plus 1? Then you see what will happen. Then I'm printing 2 4. Why? Because now I is starting with 1, and then it is going to 3, and then is it going to 5? No, it is not going to 5. See why? Because once I is 1, then after this body is executed, then I is become 3. Yeah, so 3 is fine. So 3 is less than 5. So again it goes inside. Right? Now it goes inside. Once this comes outside, then this I is incremented to 5. But when the condition is checked that whether 5 is strictly less than 5, array lot length is 5, that thing is not satisfied, and that's why 5 is executed. 5 it is this I value 5 is created, but that is not utilized. You understand? So let's say something like this, that whenever I am putting star, that thing is utilized. So 0 is I is going to 0, but it is utilized. Going to 2, it is utilized. Going to 4, it is utilized. Going to 1, it is utilized. Going to 3, it is utilized. Going to 5, it is not utilized. Okay, and that's why the value printed is just 2 4. Fine. Okay, next we'll see an example of finding even numbers.